when something hurts, right, it calls on, it brings up a way for you to deal with it.
Right.
Especially a way other than what is a healthier way.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And the false self is sometimes the personality, the you created or that was created for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you could manage that without knowing what you were managing.
Yeah.
It's just
coping. Is a good word.
Coping is a great word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With God, there is always more. More love, more life, more freedom. Welcome to Zoweh's Exploring More with Michael Thompson. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Our Heavenly Father has provided many delightful inns for us along our journey, but He takes great care to see that we do not mistake any of them for home." Join me and the team as we explore the kingdom together, discovering the deep truths and offering encouragement for the journey. There is always more.
Welcome, friends and allies, to the Exploring More podcast. Michael Thompson hanging out with you said it last time, the SJ Jennings.
And you can tell this is part 2 of a 2-part episode because we're wearing the same shirts that we were last week.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this series is kind of to unveil the YouVersion Bible app reading plan about healing in the masculine journey.
It's been amazing, dude, that whole YouVersion thing.
Yeah, it is.
Tim Good. Shout out to Tim Good.
Shout out to Tim and Desiree Good, who, through Life Church in Oklahoma City, Edmond, actually. Tim, long time partner, friend, he's the one who said, knock on that door.
Yeah, your guys, you should put your stuff on YouVersion.
My church does that.
Yeah, you came back and you were like, I don't know how to do this. What do we do?
Yeah. And that was good. You became an expert fast. So I don't know how many 400,000 downloads.
Pretty close. Yeah. Subscriptions.
All the subscriptions of all the
our plans. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a great platform.
Amazing, cool journey.
So this is part 2. Definitely inviting our friends from the recent Heart of a Warrior encounter to listen to part 1 and now part 2 about the healing in the masculine journey.
Right.
Because it's just so important to staying in this work, staying in this posture, like we talked about with Lewis, right? Looking at and looking along our lives, because there is a story there, and there are things that have happened to us that, like you said last episode about 5-year-old Scott, and the effect of that at 53 going to the mailbox and still feeling, right, bringing forward.
Felt like I got hit in the back of the head with a baseball or something, like boom. Remember that?
Yeah.
It just caught me completely off guard. Yeah.
Being kind of swept into.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the kingdom of darkness is the only one who can sweep you into
100%.
Bizarre spaces.
Right.
And
wait, where are we? What is this about?
But to be swept by the Spirit, to be swept by God into a place of I'm going to show him something, and it comes out of the well, of our heart, and there it is. And because you're being trained and are trained, you have the ability, which we want badly for other men. You have the ability to go, and you said it last. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just time out. What is that? Why?
Like, we need to say that more in life.
Heck yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Let's change the title to Wait a Minute. This podcast is now the Wait a Minute podcast.
Whoa, Nelly.
We need to do a podcast on that, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
It
could be 1 minute podcast. Wait.
I think of Blake Anderson's son and Blake Anderson, a friend of ours, and worked with us for some years. He was giving his son the sex talk kind of thing, and his And his son, he imitated him so well, but he says to Blake, his son says to his dad, like, wait a minute. Just the way he said it.
You mean to tell me?
Wait a minute. Baby, what? Here he is, 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Miles is his name.
Miles.
Wait a minute. So I think he's 17 now. Crap.
Probably.
It was, it's that. It's I hope that you have, men, these holy, wait a minute, what is that? And even the feelings that are sadness or anger or fear, that's another place. Wait a minute, what is this about? What is going on? So that'll be a fun podcast.
Yeah, man. And so
around.
Just to add a little more to that, and then we'll actually get into what we're really talking about today. What you said the last episode yesterday was not yesterday. It was last week, a little while ago. But you said thinking, feeling, and believing, right? Those are the three.
Different pieces.
So I had that thought about that memory came into my mind,
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a feeling.
Yeah, you were feeling a certain
things.
way.
I was, but I'm talking about other times now, separately.
Yeah.
Wait, why am I feeling that way? What's that? Where's that feeling coming from? And then it's the, I believe this or that or it's true and blah, blah, blah. But just stopping and saying, wait a second, why am I feeling that way? Why do I believe that? And where did that thought come from?
Yeah.
It's so important. So important part, such an important part of the training.
Huge invitation.
I mean,
huge invitation.
Absolutely.
So,
recovery.
Let's break and come back with that definition because that's very helpful. So we'll be right back on the Exploring More podcast.
Hey friends, Caleb here. I just wanted to let you know how you can access the Healing Along the Masculine Journey YouVersion plan that Michael and SJ are talking about. All you're going to do is take your mobile device and open up the Bible app. You're going to click that Discover search bar at the bottom there and type in Zoweh. Okay? And then after you search Zoweh, click on our name. You'll find us. We'll be the only result. And then scroll down and you'll see the Healing Along the Masculine Journey 6-day plan. You can click day 1, click start reading, and you can even press play for the audio version for it to be read to you. We hope you enjoy this as much as we have enjoyed going through it ourselves, and that you find healing with Jesus along the way.
Welcome back to the Exploring More podcast. And I want to jump into this. We didn't even get to it. You had it ready last time.
Yeah.
But off camera, you're like, you got to hear this.
Yeah.
This definition of recovery. And so because we're all recovering from something.
Absolutely.
And I love what you said last time, no disrespect or dishonor to this community that's called a recovery community. I just want to advocate for a much broader community that says, man, we're all trying to find our way home. We're all trying to get back and are on a comeback from some crap's kind of a light way to say it. Some of us have been, we've been through. So there's a need for healing, and there's a need to recover when those kinds of surgeries happen. So here it is. Hit us with recovery.
Yeah, a return to a normal state of health, mind, or strength. So I would say normal state would be how God originally designed it, right? And then the second one here is the action or process of regaining possession or control of something stolen or lost. I mean, the process of regaining control or possession of something stolen or lost. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So it just came up. I'm going to tell you the story.
Yeah. Okay.
I just saw, because back when we were preparing for this encounter weekend, we do some film clips and stories and parables. So what was the film, Caleb, with Ian McGregor and about
Ewan
McGregor and Winnie the Pooh?
Oh,
so while you're looking for that, it came up while I was, and it made me think.
Christopher Robin?
Yeah. It's about Christopher Robin. Yeah. So Christopher Robin.
He's grown up now.
He's grown up, and he's not doing well. He's not doing well, and it's a beautiful story. And all I did was just I don't know why it came up in some YouTube feed, but it did, and it started playing, and I had to watch it, and. What happens is Christopher Robin, they're sitting on kind of a mountainside. Christopher Robin's life has not worked out like he thought, like he wanted, like he hoped.
After he's left the 100-acre wood, yeah.
Yes. Pooh, this simple-minded little, stuffed with fluff bear,
genius.
Yes, is literally going to help to find him. He somehow gets in Pooh's mind that he needs
his help.
Christopher Robin needs his help.
Yeah.
So they're sitting there in this certain clip, and Christopher Robin says, with tears, just Pooh, I am lost. And Pooh, in that sweet voice, says, no, you're not, Christopher Robin. I found you. C.S. Lewis has a quote that says, he says, we search and search and search for God, and then we're found. And when I consider this proposition, invitation of healing, man, that's just some of the title, graphics, and illustration that I would say, yeah, you're that close to being found. You're that close to recovery. You're that close. And why, we do these weekends, why we write these YouVersion devotionals is to encourage and equip men to do what we did, because somebody did that for us.
Right.
We were in the audience.
Yeah.
We read those things. We've read the Gary Barkalows and the Eldridges and the Dan Allanders and Morgan Snyders and the
Dalby,
Gordon Dalby, and and a host of others, that have something to say about recovering your soul. And so, as you brought up last time, these stages of the masculine journey, boyhood, explorer, and then warrior. I mean, you've got some pretty formed opinions, for good or bad. Your things are pretty much in place.
By the time you reach the tail end of the warrior stage,
well into that, absolutely. I mean, they're by explorer and even warrior, they're now ruts.
They're at work.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're formed,
I think about
and in play.
I was just talking to C.S. Lewis again. I was just talking to somebody the other day about the screw tape letters, and I don't know if you know this, you probably do. There's a graphic novel version of screw tape from 1994, and it's really amazing to look at. I mean, it's pretty much spot on. When I read the book originally, and then I saw this graphic novel, I was like, yeah, that's
what I pictured.
That's about what I pictured.
Wow.
Yeah. They're.
I've heard
so those little guys are. By the time you're at the end of the explorer and into the warrior, they're around. Yeah. And
maintenance,
reinforcing maintenance.
It's a maintenance program, dude. I'm telling you.
I mean,
because
it's hilarious. It's funny in one sense.
Yeah.
And it's disheartening and sad and in some ways depressing. The bureaucracy that exists in the kingdom of darkness that's on display in the screw tape letters.
The higher ups and the
where you're
lower.
Well, and just that it just for most of us it just takes maintenance.
Yeah.
It takes the lowest level little
minions. Demons to screw tape,
little sons of guns, and they maintenance you through life and keep you repressed.
So, for our friends, how this works to be very clear, by the time you become of a certain age, we'll say mid-teens on, that thing that we're talking about's in place is not you, but it has affected you so much and infected you so much that now your false self is working. So I think about between your story between 5 and 53. Why didn't the false self just kick in at 53 and you do what you were trained to do, either strive to be invited or accepted, or screw this. I don't
need anybody anyway.
I don't need you guys.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be mean. When you come back or I see you the next time, you can't not go.
Somebody, Scott. Yeah,
you know, and
that
like,
energy comes off like, what happened?
Scott, are you okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't even know what they did.
Right.
Right. And so that's it. I mean, it's as funny as it is.
Did I do that after lunch the other day?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't find you pouty or demanding or sulking, but I've been those guys. I've been that.
Yeah.
When something hurts, right? It calls on it brings up.
Yeah.
A way for you to deal with it.
Right.
Especially a way other than what is a healthier way.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And the false self is sometimes the personality, the you created or that was created for you. So you could manage that without knowing what you were managing.
Yeah.
It's just
coping is a good word.
Coping is a great word.
Yeah.
And coping is kind of like limping along, struggling.
Yeah.
It's certainly not thriving.
No.
Right.
No.
And so there is a truth to the idea that your false self certainly is not you, and yet we can use it.
And
to try to survive.
And it's the enemy's way. It's a portal, if you will. It's access, right? I remember the first time I ever gave my computer over to somebody who was not in the room. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, remote connection. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
It was fascinating.
It's really weird.
And now they're clicking and moving.
Yeah,
and
stuff's moving around your.
Patrick's done that, you know.
Yes.
At times, let me have
desktop.
Let me have access to your.
Quick clicking stuff. Let me do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me have access. Now, criminals, scammers, they just take access. That's what we're talking about.
And they don't want you to know. Or be aware of, or be cognizant of.
I mean, to be tricked, to be fooled, to be on a call, and somebody need their last 4 of your social, and I need to get into your insurance. We've got a claim that.
This is the.
That's
the thief
that comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
And it's the thief in the night is the really good, and I don't mean good in terms of morality. I just mean the enemy is really good at what he does. And if we're not awake and aware and oriented, he will come into your house, steal some stuff, cause some trouble.
Have a sandwich.
Right? He's in the fridge, drinking out of the milk carton.
Yeah.
And then he'll leave again, and you'll be like, where'd my milk go? You'll never even know if you're not aware of what's going on, like we're talking about.
So huge. I just want to make sure that we keep some of these ingredients you brought up last time in front of our friends and there's several of them, right? When you think about the linear and the foundational stages, how they build, how they move, you think about the false self and how that thing, has gotten control over the recovery to take back control to what I'm proud of you for is going to the mailbox. Because you're a more oriented man, what you felt and the memory that it brought up and what you could think about it, you did some work.
Mm-hmm.
You connected some things. That's what I want for our friends and allies.
Absolutely.
You can come away, and you should come away for a weekend with God. You should come for the ingredients that we're talking about and the chance to kind of not just hear about them intellectually, but actually mix them up and put them in the oven and see what comes out, and taste and see that God is good. So that's what I love about the weekends. But my favorite part of the weekend and the conferences is the Thursday after, when a man sees it for himself.
Yeah.
When he's going to the mailbox and goes, holy crap.
Yeah.
They weren't kidding.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Holy crap is a synonym for wait a minute.
Yeah. Hang on a second.
And
also.
so in these, so the point that we were after earlier, and even in the previous, is these different stages all have their own.
Mm-hmm.
They all have their own level and their own questions. So the lover part of your heart, the king part of your heart. So when you're a boy, it doesn't mean you're not a king. It just means you're not a king yet.
Yeah.
But everything is moving towards that stage.
It's in you to be it.
It's in you to be it.
Mm-hmm.
Great way to say it. And the prolific and the significant and the weightiness of being a king has so much to do with what kind of king you'll be based on what has happened in your story and who's running your commentary. Who's running your commentary? Is it the false self made up of these lies and misinformed and misunderstood and mistreated events that have shaped some kind of coping mechanism? And bless you, you can't not.
Right.
And yet, if it's not in alignment with the love and life of God, then it's in alignment with something else. And you're going to do to people what was done to you.
Right. You can't not.
You can't not do it. So
yeah.
So that's the magic trick. That's the spiritual shift of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. What they're trying to do, trying as if they can't accomplish it. But I'm saying trying because you actually participate in this.
Right. They
just don't override your system in a hostile takeover that leaves you 100% new and improved.
Right. It's not a genie in the bottle. It's not suddenly everything's great.
Salvation,
even with salvation, right? I
yes,
mean,
ahead.
And that was I'm an agent of the kingdom of darkness, and now I'm an agent of the kingdom of light moment for me. And yet, all of that stuff was still with me.
Yeah.
All of those beliefs, all of those systems were still operating, even though my citizenship
has changed.
And what just popped into my head was 1 Corinthians 13, put away childish things. When I was a child, I thought like a child. And I know that's the faith, hope, love, and that's what that's about. But I just got to tell you, man, that you take these childhood things with you into these later stages.
Yeah.
And you gotta, the process that we're inviting, the healing process and recovery process we're inviting everyone, and ourselves included, to go into is to go back to the childhood.
Yeah.
And to put away some of these things that we picked up when we were little boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And little girls.
They bit us, infected, and it wasn't your fault. And yet, when you try to live with these unfortunate incidents that tell you how to think, program you how to feel, and offer you lies to believe, you're just it's not good. I want to be sympathetic at the same time. I know it's not good. I know that
Yeah.
from my story.
Right.
It was not good.
Right.
And so, to be in love with God, right, not just to serve him, is a different matter altogether. And so the lover heart, the lover part is that part of us that was designed for intimacy and romance with God and others. Intimacy, knowing and being known. Into me see. Your word of vulnerability that you talked about we haven't brought that word up for a while.
2016.
But yeah. So the lover part of us, and yes, the warrior, the explorer, there's a way things work, there's discipline, there's servitude. These are good things. But man, intimacy and being in love with God, huge. So now we talk about the king stage, which we were getting to, and back have it back in front of us now, where all of this stuff typically comes out and
comes to a head
and on display. Yeah,
it comes to a head, and a few episodes ago, I don't even remember how long ago now, I said for me the king stage is all about healing. Yeah, and I love what you said a minute ago, dude. I got to bring it up again. These things jumped up and bit you when you were a little boy, a little girl, and it wasn't your fault. And then what we do all the way up through the king stage, and some guys even, into the elder stage, we've got 75-year-olds that are freshmen in this whole thing. Yeah. You sign for packages that are aligned with the thing that bit you.
Yeah.
And it's like
they keep delivering them as often as you keep signing. As often
as you'll sign for them, they'll deliver them. And cleaning out, when you're in this king stage, you start to, you're kind of, especially in the latter half of it, you maybe have built your kingdom, you've raised your family, your kids are maybe older now. Then you start to get a little more introspective typically, right? And then that's the door, the doorway, the opportunity to see that line of light C.S. Lewis talked about, and just look at it from a little bit different perspective and see the line all the way back to boyhood. Yeah. When this happened to you, whatever this is.
Yeah. I had two quick stories so I got a couple compliments. I mean, one just during the break.
Oh, wow.
And what I want to say, what's coming up in me to say is, and you've done this in the past too, when you say, you've said it a few times, bro, you're moving a little differently. I see it. Well, that has to come from somebody that knows how you used to move.
Right. Been around you a little while.
Been around, and somehow is seeing you handle a circumstance differently. Right? And so, talking about, right, the business side of ministry, talking about, the funding, the resources, the creativity. I mean, these things. I mean, there's a lot of conversations that go around Zoweh in a day, and
oh, yeah.
So it's so good to be seen in those ways that you've been meeting with God in secret. You've been working things out, and somebody says, "Yeah, I saw you do that. I heard that." A text earlier today, you said, "Man, that was really kind." I wouldn't have said it that way, or I'm not sure, but that was really kind.
It was a really kind way to say it.
Those are just little. So there's little. It's not rewards like here's your cookie. It's more like acknowledgments. And Chris Greenway, who we love on our team, CFO, he just gave me one of those attaboy moments. Chris is accountant. He's very. He's missional.
Wonderfully,
he's missional with us. I mean,
yes,
he knows the depths of numbers. But for him to just say for him to pop in with a grin, I'm like, what's wrong? Not that he's not fun to be with, but that was just one of those moments of I'm saying progression, where what he was encouraging me and complimenting me for was a bit of the cherry on top of a season that we're going through, that I'm going through differently than I might have when God was being brought into question as providing. I was being brought into question as leading. All of those things, you know. So I think in the king stage, I'm still susceptible to opinions that don't feel like opinions. They can feel like criticism, and then I get to have that. Wait a minute, slow down. You know, that's not. I don't think that's what's going on here. You know, and if you don't have the ability to slow down, you can just wave. You can just wave.
Yeah.
Wave as your false self paddles you over the falls.
Over the falls.
And whoever's in the canoe with you is going.
You're getting hauled off to jail. Whatever,
I mean, not good. So
it's not good. No.
So I agree with you. The king stage at 40, 50, and 60 is maybe the greatest stage for healing, because it's the greatest opportunity to look back at these stages and go, wait a minute, and to have those mailbox moments, to see more and to be so much more consciously aware that God is up to good in your life. Your anger is inviting you to see something. Your sadness is inviting you to be something. You know, and now all of a sudden you're taking way more inventory on what you think, what you feel, and why you believe what you believe. Right. So this whole this whole king stage. I think about why I was compelled to write King Me, not to make this about the book, but it was to put so much of this in one place, 300 pages of equipping and encouraging, so that a man could get his will back. And so if you've done some work, if you've been, I like what you said about elder sage as freshmen, you know, even if you're at 70 now in this last stage and you're enrolling now.
It's okay. It's great.
Right. You're enrolling now. The opportunity to bless your adult children, the opportunity to mend any fences that you now are aware of. I didn't know. And we're talking about Christian men, right? I mean, Christian men. We're amongst 80 of them now on the elder sage team. Yep. These are elders and deacons in churches, Sunday school teachers,
men of honor. You know, and there's one right now. Mike Lynn's calling me. I forgot to put my phone on airplane mode.
So, cue the elder sage.
Cue the elder sage.
But I
should have answered.
Put him on. We got a question for you.
Yeah.
SJ, I think that they know, time is short, and so they're making amends.
Right.
They want it to be as good as possible with whatever is left, and to ask for forgiveness or to extend forgiveness.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to wait.
No.
To end of life, to end of years, to the fourth quarter.
But it's so sweet to see some of these guys, just getting a hold of these things, and it really making a difference. It's really making a difference in their lives. And I would say, when you're in that stage of life, and you're choosing to go back, you're choosing to try to get healing, you're choosing to say, man, I got some work to do and I don't have a lot of time to do it. There's people watching you do that.
Yeah.
As an elder sage.
And as a king.
As a king too. And I just say, I think there's something sweet to me. There's a I can't think of a different word, but I think about our friend Alexander Deuce. And the moments that we've had the privilege to watch him receive healing from Jesus from things he's been carrying his whole life.
Yeah.
And now as an elder sage, he's like, man, I'm so excited to get free from some of these things and do things differently.
Yeah.
It's just impactful.
No, literally going from kind of don't touch me guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To hugger.
Right.
Like what in the world?
Yeah.
And
Right.
so I think this is the benefit. This is the produce. This is the rewards of this work of healing and recovery. Because so the false self has a hold of these parts of your heart, of these parts of your story.
Mm-hmm.
And so going with Jesus back into those spaces and not just becoming aware that this is what happened to me at 5, but renouncing the belief or the feeling or the thinking, but particularly the belief that's when I signed the contract that's an initial that at 5 that I wasn't good enough to be invited.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got initials all.
Oh, there's it's almost like a phone book.
It's been up
it's
every
53
year.
pages,
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever.
That's it. So how do you?
But what you can do is just like that, go back, and I feel this in the spiritual realm happening right now. It doesn't have to be true.
Yeah.
There's an antidote to the venom that was in the thing that bit you.
Yeah, it's well said.
and you can be free of it.
Yeah.
You really can.
Yeah, and that's in a nutshell. That's how it works, and
it
so
really
you
is.
can renounce, you can unsubscribe, you can give it to Jesus and let Him put it in that shredder, and so when you do that, it's like that hook. Have you ever seen? They're on Instagram and YouTube. The guys that they'll either pull the tortoise out of the ocean and cut off
nets or whatever
nets,
it's caught up in.
Or the little seals and
jump in the water with them.
The seal and the turtle are not crazy about the whole
they think
thing.
they're hurting them.
So the analogy gets out of whack there, but they're so encumbered, and the very persons who are there to free them, they almost are trying to defend this very. They don't know
this
what's
thing that's
happening.
entrapped them.
Yeah, so
it's Eustace.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah,
so
we've talked about
Eustace in
and
the dragon
pain
skin.
of the scales being scratched away.
Yeah.
I mean,
hurt like a woolly booger, I think he says, or a wally, something like that in the
whatever
in the book.
that is.
So you're right, but I think this is the invitation, brothers, sisters. This is the invitation of let Him catch you. Submit to this idea that, not everything that happened in my life was okay.
Yeah,
and that it left a mark.
Nor was everything my fault.
Right. And it's left an impression. It's left some things behind that need treatment, that really need care. And I hope that, yes, the YouVersion devotional on healing along the masculine journey is helpful. I so hope King Me is and Heart of Aware point to that. I hope this conversation points to that. And all of that is good information, good pamphlets.
Mm-hmm.
It still takes that vulnerable moment, right, of making the appointment,
exercising your will,
and saying, "Okay, God,
wait a minute.
I'm not sure." What these guys are talking about sounds good. I don't know how this works, but I want to sign a new contract. That's what I would like to end with, is just to invite those who were at the weekend, keep going.
Yeah.
Sign the next contract with God. Find another oriented man.
Keep listening.
Maybe reach out to another guy that was at the conference. Of course you don't know how to do this. Of course you don't.
Why would you?
Why?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But as it starts to make more and more sense, you will get better and better at it as you practice. Yeah. Practice these ways of the kingdom. And lay still and let him cut some of this stuff off.
Mm-hmm.
And another one might be take the pill,
Mm-hmm.
red pill, blue pill. Another one might be drink the antidote.
Right.
Another one might be stop at the
Tear up the
mailbox.
contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
Throw that junk mail away.
It's the best move. It's the best move you can make, and keep making and learning how to make it. It's the difference between an oriented man who lives mostly from the true self and a disoriented man who mostly lives from the false self.
Mm-hmm.
And one life is way better. Wait a minute. It's way better than the other. So
Yeah, man. Well, hey, download the Bible app, the YouVersion Bible app from Apple Store and whatever the other one is, Google Play. I don't know what Samsung does. Android, that's right, the Android App Store, the Bible app, and then after you do that, search bar at the bottom, search for Zoweh. You'll see all of our YouVersion plans on there.
Caleb can put something slick in the
I'm
lower
sure he
thirds
can.
of
He's got those
logos
skills.
and icons and all that.
I'm glad he has those skills.
Still gotta say for the audio listeners though.
Yes,
That's right.
That's
right. For the audio listeners, right. Download that app and engage with it. We hope you will. And lots of free resources available to you, in addition to all the old podcast episodes. ZowehOutpost.com has is it .com? ZowehOutpost.com? Okay. Has a ton of free resources.
And not only that,
Oh.
we're hitting the road this summer and fall.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
With the Dangerous for Good Men's Summit.
Men's Summit. Yeah.
10, maybe 11 or
All right.
12. So
Well, let's talk about it. Let's take a second.
I just tease it. Let's do a teaser. Let's just drop
Dangerous
a tease.
for Good Men's Summit. We'll talk about it a little more in the next episode. But Jesus was a man who was dangerous for good.
Mm-hmm.
I think about C.S. Lewis again. Is he
Is he
safe?
Yeah, Aslan,
No,
is he safe?
no,
right?
but he's good, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Beaver talking about that. So is it Mr. Beaver?
Yeah, the Beavers.
Yeah, the Beavers.
Mm-hmm.
So we can be dangerous men and we can be dangerous for good.
Yeah.
So let's come together in this summit and
these are all over the
move
country. We are partnering with our allies and friends to kind of take the message to them and their communities. Guys that are trying to create the foxholes and the safe houses, right? The good places for men.
Yeah.
And certainly women and marriages and families.
As a result.
No question. Absolutely. So,
No question.
So anyway, that's
first one's August 2nd and 3rd in Ohio.
Yep. And then we're
gonna
moving
get a
from
mess
there.
of guys in there. And again, the idea is these local events. Not everybody can get away for a 3.5 day encounter weekend. So we want to do local events and get more and more men mobilized and into healing and freedom.
Yeah. They're the Ohio one, and there's a couple other ones. They're threatening to be 500-700 guys.
Oh, I believe they're going to do it.
I think so too.
Pretty fired up.
So that'll be a blast.
It will.
But I bring that up because of what's next and when this is airing, and go into the website for the YouVersion Bible app. And if this is something that you want to take a look on the website and maybe host one of these, then the conversation needs to begin.
Zoweh.org/DFG Summit is the website. See, DFG?
Nice.
DFG.
Yeah.
Zoweh.org/DFG Summit. You get the in-depth description of what the events are all about, some of the expectations and requirements and things like that, and available dates.
Hey, Caleb, let's do a Dangerous for Good podcast. Let's roll that out in a conversation where we bring the elements.
Do that right after. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
wait
that's
a
right.
minute.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I don't think that was snarky. I think that was a good idea.
We ought to.
Okay.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, he's serious.
I think
the
he was.
Dangerous for Good one, we could find movie clips of men being dangerous for good and then react to those dangerous for good moments.
Yeah.
Because we love movie clips.
All right, friends and allies, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for engaging with us in the Exploring More podcast. We'll see you next time.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Exploring More. The landing page for this podcast is zoweh.org/podcast. That's ZOWEH.org/podcast, where you can find the show notes and various platforms to which we broadcast. You can also find us and the Life of More by visiting Zoweh on YouVersion Bible app, Right Now Media, our Facebook page, and Zoweh on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, with God there is always more, and you were made for more.